One world, one people, one hope, one life, one voice, one song, one spirit, one light, just one. Only one. One choice, one freedom, one truth, one light, one joy, one peace, one power, one life, just one. Only one. What you gonna do about the problems of the world? Do you want another view? Then stop. Take your brother by the hand and stop. Tell your sister that she can, cause we'll go a little farther, last a little longer when we help each other out, make each other stronger. Who's gonna do it?
You and me.
Why we gonna do it?
Cause it sets us free.
One world, one people, one hope, one life, one voice, one song, one spirit, one night, just one. Only one. One choice, one freedom, one truth, one light, one joy, one peace, one power, one life, just one. Only one.
There is only one. One power, only one. One thing going on. One. We do our part when we live our days surrendering to what we can become. Keep on remembering that there is only one.
You say no way, I won't do it, not today. Maybe when I'm richer, or stronger, or kinder. Then I'll be a good boy, then I'll be a nice girl. Then I'll help the people with the problems of the whole world. Whoops, try again, cause there's another way. When you share a little love, it'll make your day. It'll make you richer, and stronger, and kinder. Now is the time, it'll blow your mind. One world, one people, one hope, one life, one voice, one song, one spirit, one night, just one. Only one. One choice, one freedom, one truth, one light, one joy, one peace, one power, one life, just one. Only one.
There is only one. One power, only one. One thing going on. One. We do our part when we live our days surrendering to what we can become. Keep on remembering that there is only one. There is
Share
only
your
one.
love with the one, share your joy with the one, share your light with the one, cause there's only one. Share your hope with the one, share your truth with the one, share your spirit with the one, cause there's only one. Share your voice with the one, share your peace with the one, share your presence
We
with the
do
one,
our
cause there's only
part
one. Share
when
your
we
life
live our
with the one,
days
share your bliss with the
surrendering
one, share your
to
soul
what
with
we
the one,
can
cause there's
become.
only one. Share your world with the
Keep
one,
on
share your power with the
remembering
one, share your
there
love with the one,
is
cause there's only one.
only
Share your love with the one, share your joy with the one, share your light with the one, cause there's only one. Share your hope with
Keep
the one,
on
share your truth with the
remembering
one, share your spirit
there
with the one, cause
is
there's only one.
only
Share your voice with the one, share your peace with the one, share your presence with the one, cause there's only one. Share your life with
Keep
the
on
one, share your bliss with
remembering
the one, share your
that there
soul with the one,
is
cause there's only
only
one.
one.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Reverend Deborah Johnson, and welcome to our Inner Light Ministries virtual Sunday presentation. I say thank you to Melissa and Z, a wonderful couple, for providing that musical inspiration for us in the beginning. They're not here with us in person, but they've given permission for us to use some of their videos, and I appreciate the consciousness with which they co-minister together. Welcome to Inner Light. Welcome to this extraordinary adventure in this thing called life. Life is not a spectator sport. Life is in session. So we're here to wake up, to remember. We're here to shake out of the hypnotic trance that we are our stuff. We're here to rise above the current trends and thoughts and ideas, to get off the bell curve and not just try to stay lockstep with the norm, but to experience what's deeply natural to us as spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings. We're not just human beings with some extra ethereal aspect of us called a soul. No. We are spiritual beings incarnate in flesh form. We are consciousness. I say all the time, you are a verb. You're a verb, not just a noun, you are a verb. And your being here is no accident. It's no accident. This is a divine appointment. Whether this is your first time with us, whether this is your 10th time just watching this particular program, I'm knowing that each and every time we come together, something happens in consciousness and we leave more uplifted, inspired, on fire, more committed and dedicated to living full on the lives that we were ordained to live. Welcome. Welcome to Inner Light. We have a vision. We have a vision of an empowered world that's environmentally sustainable and socially just. That we do our parts into ushering this in, to bringing forth the highest heaven right here on earth. We know that the personal is political, that everything that we do on an individual level sets the foundation for everything that happens in the collective. What we all call the collective is just the individual supersized. The converse is also true. That what we call the personal or the individual is just a microcosm of the whole. They're not different. It's just gradations of size, but the exact same things. So we contend that you can never have the kind of healing and transformation and empowerment that we want at the large collective level unless we shift and change ourselves. And I also contend that it's not good enough for you to seek just your own personal enlightenment, because we are part of the collective whole, so that we have a mutual responsibility to care, to be stewards of the earth, to bring forth a planet that is livable, socially, economically, on every level, livable. And can you imagine the world that we will have when over 7 billion people are free? When over 7 billion people aren't struggling with food insecurity or, famines and wars and environmental degradation. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the genius that will be unleashed? Yes, when any of us are held down or back, all of us are impacted. And vice versa. When any of us are able to grow and to express and to create, it sends a rippling vibration in the universe that blesses us all. Blesses us all. Which is why our topic today is we're threads in life's tapestry. Every week, we offer 100 words. They are part of the tools for living that encourage the practical application of universal spiritual principles. That's part of our charge in Inner Light, to provide these tools. Well, these affirmative activations are concepts, they're ideas, they are perceptions, they're precepts, they are practices. They're ways to make you present. They are meant to be repeated. repeated enough to be able to be embodied. We're just sampling it here to give you a little taste, to whet the appetite for you to come back. And even if you just choose one line to be the focus of your attention, there's a recalibration that happens. And with the recalibration, it's like a tuning fork for us, where we're instruments. And truth, if we tune to its vibration, then we're like a string that will resonate that. Like life is plucking us. And what is that sound that's coming out? Some of us are a little flat. Some of us are a little sharp. And the affirmative activations help us realign so that our frequency, our tone, our vibration, our countenance, our consciousness is in alignment with our divinity. If you're able to, I invite you to say the affirmations with me now as they appear on your screen. Each of us is a unique thread in the tapestry of life. We are divinely designed and part of the whole. Together, we weave an intricate pattern that blends with one another. No one is disposable. There's none that we would diminish or dismiss. In our hearts, there's room enough for all. Love shared anywhere blossoms and radiates everywhere. Music made or played anywhere soothes and uplifts everywhere. We promote harmony through compassion and empowerment. We support each other on life's journey. The generosity of one inspires us all. We live simply so that each other can simply live. Just breathe that in for a moment. And as you're breathing that in, I invite you to just relax into this next musical offering from Melissa and Z to set the tone for our receiving the message.
It was easy to blame you. My hatred was real. I just wanted you to have the pain that you made me feel. Then I found something I wanted even more. Peace of mind I had given to this war. Stepping back from my broken heart, I was amazed to see that just like me, you're seeking happiness just like me. You don't want to cry. In your life there has been sadness. You have felt alone. You have known despair. And out of that you've grown. You have dreams and needs. I can't see. How do I know these things? 'Cause you are just like me. let go, to live and let live. I turn you loose. Forget and forgive. I see the whole picture. What I ask for is clear. Forgive me for using you to stay in my fear. And if you can do this, you too might find places where we agree. 'Cause just like me, you're seeking happiness. Just like me, you don't want to cry. In your life there has been sadness, and you have felt alone. You have known despair, and out of that you've grown. You have dreams and needs I can't see. How do I know these things? 'Cause you are just like me.
How many times have I made you wrong? Have I stewed in my sorrow, my anger, my longing for justice, reparation, healing, and peace, when the only thing missing for healing was me? I see you now clearly, your struggle, your shame, my sister, my brother. We're one and the same, pushing pain on each other till we wake up and see the beauty, the freedom of our unity.
How often we all forget to look for our common ground. When we can hold out, remember we're all here together. There's no need for blame, 'cause we're really the same. And just like me, you're seeking happiness. Just like me, you don't want to cry. In your life there has been sadness, and you have felt alone. You have known despair, and out of that you've grown. You have dreams and needs that I can't see. How do I know these things? 'Cause you just like me.
Thank you. Thank you to Melissa and Z. Let's just take a breath, huh? And breathe that in. We're talking today about how we are all threads in life's tapestry. All of us. Just let that sink in. You are meant to be here. I know sometimes we wonder about that. We wonder about that. I know I did growing up. Is this really the family that I'm supposed to be in? Is this really the time in history that I'm supposed to be in? You know, sometimes we wonder, are we significant? Do we make a difference? Do we have a purpose? And even when we have a sense of that about ourselves, we're not always able to see how that fits in with everybody else. It's easy to feel like a fish out of water, or like we're out of step or out of tune. We do different things when we feel that. Some of us anesthetize. We kind of do things, we consume things, whatever, take our mind off of it, kind of dull down our sensory perceptions and our feelings. We can get into workaholism or alcoholism. We can become addicted to social media. We can zone out or just, space out. We can run away. There's all these different things that we can do. Some of us go the reverse, where instead of zoning out, we act out. And we're busy being busy. Sometimes making decisions that, well, let's just say they're not coming from our finest hour or highest consciousness. But it's a way of feeling like we're alive, or that we have some kind of agency in our lives. Sometimes we don't even care if it's the right thing or the wrong thing. We just want the ability to do it. And doing it my way, whether it's a good way or not, is what's most important, to some of us. We approach this thing called life from all different kinds of ways. So often we're taught that life is indifferent to us, and that if we're not really careful, then life itself will be friendly towards us. Not that it necessarily is deliberately trying to do something to us, kind of like the wind or whatnot, that if you don't work with it, then it might blow you over. So we approach life sometimes with trepidation, sometimes with a lot of fear, and we're taught to hedge against it, how to make sure we get ahead of life so that we're not fooled, we're not broadsided, we're not taken off guard, we're not put in some kind of disadvantageous position where we're losing ground or perhaps stuck. As George Washington Carver explained so beautifully, what you love enough reveals its secrets to you. What you love enough reveals its secrets to you. So the first thing that I ask you to do is to start loving life. Life itself and the process of living, with all of its ups and downs and changes and mysteries. To be a good traveler, to be present with it, not trying to master it or conquer it, to see yourself a part of it. If someone were to ask you, well, what is life? Or can you give me some examples of life so that I can understand what life is? I contend not too many people would point to themselves first as life, as the evidence of life itself. But you are. We are. Each of us is unique, and we're part of the whole. This is one of the things that I find most fascinating about the way that the universe operates. That at the highest level, there is a way in which each and every person is just like every other person. There's a way in which each and every person is like some people. And there's a way in which each and every person is like no other person. This trinity of expression is true for everything. Everything. At the broadest level, it's infinite. No differentiation. There's a way in which music is music. Like music is like all music. It's notes and tone. But then there's a way in which some music is like some music, like a particular genre or scale or something like that, or key. And then there's a way in which like each song is like no other song. But it's all there. It's all there. And here's the thing, is the finite, that way in which everything is unique and like none other, that finite exists within the infinite. Okay. So every song is a part of music, but it doesn't work that way in reverse. You can't squeeze the infinite into the finite. Okay. A particular relationship that you're in, it's unique. It's like none other. Then there's a way in which that relationship is like some others. Maybe it's a romantic relationship. Maybe it's a work relationship. Maybe it's a parenting relationship. It's like a genre. But then there's a way in which all relationships are the same. It's about the love. It's about the connection. It's about the empathy. It's about the respect. It's about the mutual caring. That there's certain things that are just a part of what it means to be in relationship. We have to remember that about ourselves. Like, yes, you are your own little thread. There's no question about it. But you're also part of threadness, like the big. You're not the only thread. Your song's not the only song. Your relationship's not the only relationship. The finite is in the infinite, but the infinite can't be in the finite. So all of music can't be expressed in a single song. All of love can't be expressed in a single relationship. Too often we fail to locate our specific something within the context of something larger. And I contend that it is the larger context that really gives your life a sense of meaning and purpose. See, if you're just in it for you, whatever it is, to make a buck, to be the best, like whatever, if that's it, then there's a shallowness that will happen. You'll get to a point of kind of a sense of disillusionment. Your own will and skills and might and energy is only going to take you so far before you run out. And then you've got to get fortified, uplifted by something else, something external to keep you pumped up and to keep it coming from you. See? But when you know that your little thread is part of the bigger thread, you take your little cup so to speak. I know I'm mixing a lot of metaphors, but just hang with me here. It's like you take your little cup and you go to the well and you drink from the well. You're not just trying to drink from you and your own little personal reserves, that we're tapped into something larger. And when we realize this, then there's a part of us that has room for something being different than we are. It's kind of interesting to me how, at some level, people want to perceive themselves as unique. They like the fact that they're kind of like a one of a kind. But then they get kind of nervous when there are too many in their mind one of a kinds. That there comes this point when the diversity of it all feels overwhelming or even threatening. Like, how can my little something exist if there's all of these others that aren't on my same wavelength, that aren't singing my same tune, that are not necessarily dialed in to exactly my frequency? But it's just like a tapestry. Okay? If a tapestry were the universe, so to speak, maybe in this incarnation, your greatest impact or your sphere of influence or where you are is, I don't know, in the far top right corner. Okay. And somebody else is in the bottom left corner. Somebody else is in the middle or the sides or whatever. We're all part of the same tapestry. And just because the same, it doesn't look the same from the top and the bottom, there might be other colors, there might be other pictures that are being made there. There's a certain stitching, there's a certain looping that keeps repeating itself. Even though the colors may change, even though the design that's being created may change, there's still a pattern that's happening there that is consistent across the whole thing. The tapestry doesn't have to be just one monochromatic, just one color from corner to corner, from top to bottom. It's okay for it to have some different hues. It's even okay for the stitching to change. Maybe something bumps out a little bit and it has kind of a textured, more embroidered feeling. Maybe it's done so that it caves in a little bit, so you get the sense of like a crevice or something being embedded. There can be all kind of things that can happen, and it's okay. It's okay. There's room enough for you. And there's room enough for everybody else. Just breathe that in for a moment. There is room for us all. Take a breath. One of the things that's a truism in life is that if there's something you want to have, you have to give it. There are umpteen ways in which we say this. You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. There are a lot of different ways to say it. But what you get back is reflective of what you put out. Okay, what you get back. And the what you get back isn't just about the outer physical world, but what you get back in here. In here. What you get, what you receive, what you feel. It's going to be contingent upon how you put it out there. In my book, The Sacred Yes, which are a collection of spirit downloads that come in the form of letters, I love this one analogy that's made here. Where in it, the spirit voice is saying that we say the phrase, you reap what you sow, like a quid pro quo, tit for tat. And it was reminding us that the quote actually is, as you sow, so shall you reap. Listen to the difference. Not so much in product, but process. Process. That the graciousness with which you give is the graciousness with which you receive. Okay. So, for example, if you can't forgive yourself, then you can't accept anybody else's forgiveness. Listen to that. It's the way that we do it. It was explaining that it says basically everything comes from God. So the spirit voice says that the seed and the harvest are mine. They're mine. The sowing and the reaping is yours. The seed and the harvest is mine. Think of it like life itself, like an apple seed or the thing, that's mine. The reaping and the sowing is yours. It's what you do with it. See, everything belongs to the divine. You don't have your own music. You don't have your own love. You don't have your own language. You don't have your own electricity. You don't have all of that. We just get to use it. You don't have your own power. You don't have your own beauty. You don't have your own anything. You don't have your own wisdom. It's all here and we get to use it. And like with all tools, we can go both ways. A knife can carve something very beautiful. A knife can stab you to death. Depends on how we use it. We have fire. You can use fire to warm the house. You can use fire to burn it down. See, the seeds and the harvest, the raw stuff and those final end results, it's like that all belongs to me. The sowing and the reaping is what you do with it. It's like how you use my stuff. And he said, because the seeds are mine and I'm good, that there's always some goodness that can come out of every seed regardless of how it was planted or by whom. There's always some goodness. Out of tragedies, we get strength. We get courage. We get resilience. We get compassion. That as we rise above the trepidations, it says there's always a good harvest, even if it's no more than the awareness that what happened should never happen again. That even that becomes a good harvest. But it went on to say that even basically if you have a good seed, if you sowed it with ill intent, then you won't reap the harvest, the benefit of it. You won't. See, if you got there cheating or lying, that even when the good thing comes around, you're not going to be able to receive it. If you're in a relationship, let's just say because of deception, there's going to be a part of you that isn't going to really be able to fully embrace the other person's love or the other people's love, because you're going to feel like a fraud. You're going to feel like a phony. There's a part of you that won't be able to settle in it because it'll feel temporal. Like at any moment, the truth can come out, you'll be discovered, and then it's all going to be gone. See? So it's like that with our tapestry of life. How are you showing up with your little threads? How are you showing up with your little threads? And if you're doing your weaving, you're doing your sewing with good intent, then even as the dastardly things happen all around you, you're still being blessed. You're still being uplifted. Even if it's no more than the awareness of how you're being provided for. I think about my ancestors from the African diaspora. So literally, I'm just now getting in test results from 3 different DNA test things that I've recently done. And it shows that I'm like 69.5% from the African diaspora and about 30 from European. You know, it's not like a shock. However, it was interesting to have it dialed in to see exactly where. So as it turns out, I'm 25% Nigerian from these 2 different particular places in, Nigeria. Well, everybody's DNA is like that, where we're these amalgamations of ancestry, of people from different walks and places and corners of the earth. If you trace us all back far enough, we're all from Africa. If you trace us back far enough, we all come from the motherland. But as we've gone about our journeys, we've gotten all these different traits and things. What we call race, that's just a social construct. It has no biological validity, which is why we can exchange body parts and blood and all of that and have children together, because it doesn't mean anything from a sort of genetic biological. Of course, you have certain traits or tendencies, but there isn't some great big differentiation based upon that. And even what we call racial things, it's migration. You can relate most of those differences to geography. If you're a black man in Africa, you don't need a hairy back. If you're in Russia, Siberia, it's gonna come in handy. I mean, this stuff is so basic. If you're in places that are hot, your hair might be curlier, like protect you from the sun, or thicker. You don't need it dripping down your neck to keep you warm. If you're in a cold country, you might need it hanging down your neck. The universe is really smart and really adaptive. But there's room for all of it. There's room for the redwoods. There's room for the weeds. There's room for all of us as part of this big tapestry of life. Don't dismiss anybody, any group of people. You have to give what you want to receive. If you want to be embraced, if you want to be perceived as valuable, then you have to stop the practice of devaluing other people. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. I remember when this hit me the hardest. This was a number of years ago. And I was in a court case. It wound up setting precedent for the inclusion of sexual orientation in the California Civil Rights Bill. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was like the first in the nation. Gloria Allred was my attorney, or our attorney, I should say. It was my former partner and I. And got to be a really big deal, really big deal. A lot of publicity about it, and Ms. Magazine and Jet Magazine, the courts went down and actually, visited. It was a discrimination suit where we had been refused service because we were both women and they wouldn't serve us in the romantic section. This was back in 83. We won in 84, unanimous at the appellate level. They certified it for publication, so it's in the law books as precedent. The Supreme Court refused to take the case on, let the appellate court stand. This is all in the state of California. Now, and then the restaurant decided to close the booths rather than serve us. It was just all of the stuff that you saw about race just played out once again about gender and sexual orientation. It was like the same old playbook, eating in a restaurant. During this time, my mother came to visit me at my job. At the time, I was working in Century City for Prudential, investing pension fund monies in large commercial projects. And out of all the places in the world, my mother is explaining to me at lunch. This is the only time in my whole entire life my mother ever came and had lunch with me, like at work or on a work day. And it turns out she's president of the Women's Christian Council. They were having their banquet. They do this Valentine's Day thing. They were having their banquet at that restaurant. when she told me that, I couldn't breathe. I could not breathe. This was in the middle of that lawsuit. There's all kind of picketing going on, unsolicited from us. This restaurant was close to Washington, close to downtown. The International Ladies Garment Union was the first one to call for the boycott and the picket. And like all these groups are picketing. And my mother and her church are having their banquet there. I was too through. I mean, tootie-too through. And while I was speechless, I had to check myself. See, what was my deepest intent? Why was I suing this restaurant anyway? I was suing because I believed that anybody should be able to go to any public restaurant, period. No special places where they can't go or that, period. Period. And it dawned on me at that moment that my mother had just as much right to go to that restaurant as I did to sue them for not serving us. That if I really, really, really believed in what I said I was fighting for, then my fight had to include her right to go there. Oh, that was a bitter pill to swallow. But I remember getting it in that moment because I thought, I don't want her telling me where I can go and not go. I don't have the right to tell her where she can go and not go. Listen to what I'm saying. If I want to be accepted, my religious beliefs, my sexual orientation and all that, I can't be bad-mouthing and dismissing everybody else's. Doesn't work that way. The acceptance, the embrace, the oneness that I want all of us to have, I have to be it. I have to demonstrate it. That's how we consciously live with being a part of this great big tapestry of life. There's room enough for all of us. Is that what you want? Do you want to wait for all of us to be in peace? Is there anybody that you want to shut up? Kick off the planet? Take off the playing field? I'll leave you with this because it's similar. I remember when I was on a public debate, actually was at the San Francisco Foundation, and it was about marriage equality. And, you know, naturally I'm on the pro side and somebody else is on the opposition. And the guy was just really adamant about how wrong we were and it should never happen and all of the rest of that. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was a Muslim leader. This is not to say anything against Islam. This is just a fact. And I remember him having 7 kids, and he just was just really up in a knot about all of this. And I remember saying to him, I said, you know, let me tell you what the real difference is between us. Because it's not all this other stuff that we're talking about. I said, now we both think we're right and that the other one has the wrong position. I said, but here's our difference. I said, I will forever fight for your right to say I'm wrong. You just want to silence me. I'm going to say that again. I told him, I will forever fight for your right to say I'm wrong. You just want to silence me. Think about that. Are you fighting? If you're fighting at all, or are you fighting for the right for all of us to be here, find a way to work it out? Or are you just wanting to silence so that everything kind of looks like and sounds like you do? Just saying. Let's take a breath. Let's take this to prayer. As we turn within, something stirs. Something moves us deep at the core of our being. Something calls us up. Something calls it out. It's a whisper in the midnight hour. Sometimes we call it our gut. Or something told me. Whatever that is, there is an internal compass. An internal compass. It points towards the divine. It guides us and steers us. We tune in, we listen. We heed its call, we heed its warnings. We're uplifted by the visions of its possibilities. And I say thank you. Thank you for the constant rejuvenation. Thank you for the renewal. Thank you for the restoration. Thank you for the replenishment. Thank you, life. Thank you for having brought us from such a mighty long way. And it's still just the beginning. We give thanks for blessings too numerous to count, large and small. We uplift each other. We encourage each other. Give us this day our daily bread, all of us. Forgive us our debts, our trespasses, those offenses that we've created one to another. Forgive us as we forgive each other for doing it. We can't forgive the offense. We don't have the power to do that. Everything comes with a consequence, a consequence. All we have control over is how we treat each other. Lord, lift us up to more compassion and kindness We're knowing that this daily bread is not just sustenance, but it's all needs. Thank you, Mother, Father God, for coming through as health in the body temple, health in our financial bodies, health in our emotional and mental bodies, health in our political bodies. Thank you for lifting us up where we belong, giving us chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. We step into those possibilities. For those who are sloughing off the mortal coil, or for anything in our lives that's now complete, we say thank you. We release it to its next iteration. Matter is neither created nor destroyed, it only changes form. Consciousness is neither created nor destroyed, it only changes form. And we're knowing that what the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the butterfly calls but the beginning. So for all of the caterpillar in us that's going through its metamorphosis, we say thank you for that life. And we say, come on with it to the butterfly. This is true on our individual levels. It's true on our collective levels. To step into the new, we have to release the old. We have the courage to do this. We have the patience to do this. We have the intent. Thank you, God. We know it's so. We get out of the way. We allow it to be. And so it is. Thank you. We're praying community at Inner Light. Please contact us. We have prayer partners who are ready to pray with you. You can reach us online. You can send us an email, the number 4, the word prayer at innerlightministries.com. You can give us a call at 831-465-9090 at extension 254. These people have studied years to be able to hold the high watch for you in consciousness. It's all confidential, whether it's for yourself or somebody else, a world condition, or something is wonderful and you just want somebody to stand in agreement with you. We're there. Of course, donations are accepted, but it's free of charge. So please avail yourself. For information about current events and things that are going on, please take a look at our calendar. You'll find out things that are happening in person, things that are happening virtually. Sometimes it's a combination of the two. And just as a reminder, our food bank is still up and running. We're teamed up for location now with Santa Cruz Bible on Frederick Street, close to Soquel Avenue. We're pushing out close to 8,000 pounds of food every Thursday at noon. No cost. We set it up like a farmer's market, and your produce and your breads and your canned goods, and you can pick whatever it is that you want to pick. We don't predetermine that for you. So there's not waste, and you can take as much as you need for yourself or to pass it on. We're so lucky to live in the Santa Cruz area in a bread basket. We're year round. And I just want to give a special acknowledgement to our area and how hard the Santa Cruz area has been hit by the weather and all of the rains, and how much that has impacted our crops and the farm workers in particular. It's been a lot. It's been a lot, but we don't let that get in the way of our commitment to circulating whatever it is that is there and that is available. So please avail yourselves of that if you're anywhere in the Santa Cruz area. And speaking of distribution and circulation, on your screen, you'll find that there are a number of ways in which you can make a financial contribution to Inner Light Ministries to help us with our programs, with our ministries, and our work. You'll see there is a QR code there. You can use PayPal. You can use a debit card, a credit card. You can go online at our website. You can use Cash App, or perhaps you want to text to give. That whatever method that it is that you use, I want you to know that every nickel, dollar, and dime is going towards transformative work. And we are so grateful for those of you who give on a regular basis. We're grateful for those of you who are giving right now. And I invite you to just put some intention in your gift giving right now, knowing that you are blessed as well. You receive with the graciousness in which you give. And I know that your gift will return to you 1,000-fold. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, we're going to be blessed with one last musical offering from Melissa and Z. And as always, our motto here is take this consciousness and multiply it. Peace and blessings to you.
Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing gonna make me feel fine. Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing, and I do it all the time. I don't care how old you are, I don't care how smart. Only gratitude's gonna take you to your heart. When you're curled up in misery, misery is all you see. Open up, look around. If you need to, write it down. I'm grateful for my hands, I'm grateful for my eyes, I'm grateful for my friends, I'm grateful for my life. If you wanna feel bad, you can curl up in a ball. But if you open up to gratitude, you can have it all. Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing gonna make me feel fine. Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing, and I do it all the time.
86,400 seconds in a day. How many you gonna use today to say thank you every time you do? Every little thing gets so much better, so get on your gratitude.
You don't need to have a lot, just be good with what you got. Name it, claim it, praise it, raise it. When you're finished, take a minute. Gratitude's got power in it, kinda like a telegram. Universe, here I am, I'm ready for more. I'm opening the door. Then what do you know? Your good starts to grow. Your attitude's contagious, your wealth is outrageous, and all you had to do was say thank you. Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing gonna make me feel fine. Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing, and I do it all the time.
86,400 seconds in a day. How many you gonna use today to say thank you every time you do? Every little thing gets so much better, so get on your gratitude. There's always something right where you are. When you look for the good, you can find 16,400 seconds in a day. How many you gonna use today to say thank you every time you do? Every little thing gets so much better, so get on your gratitude.
Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing gonna make me feel fine. Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing, and I do it all the time. Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing gonna make me feel fine. Only one thing gonna make me feel better. Only one thing, and I do it all the time. I'm grateful for the earth. I'm grateful for the sky. I'm grateful for the shadows. I'm grateful for the light. I'm grateful for water. I'm grateful for food. I'm grateful for confusion. I'm grateful for truth. I'm grateful for my troubles. I'm grateful for my pain. I'm grateful for my blessings. I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for my hands. I'm grateful for my eyes. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my hands. I'm grateful for my eyes. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my life.